What's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to be going over the best ways to convert your guys' AP into gold in a bit of a double way fashion. So the first part of this video is going to be all of the things and where to get those things that you can purchase with your AP and then turning it to gold. The second part of the video is then going to be going over how to know what you should be selling with AP. And please don't ask why I have a bounty of 69 gold. I'm just now realizing this and I don't know what I did. So, starting right off here, so we're going to go by merchants themselves, and then again we'll go into the later part of the video. So, starting with the Battleground Supply Merchant. Now, this person is going to be in any starter town that you guys will have, and they sell a couple of good items for you guys. The biggest ones that I'm going to highlight for you guys are going to be the different types of potions, specifically Stam and Mag, generally sell a little bit faster. You're going to want to try to sell these in at least decent sized sacks, usually 100 to 200, and then Dawn Prisms. Dawn Prisms are definitely another really good way to convert AP to gold. For a while, this was the #1 way on PC to convert AP to gold. However, on console, if you play on Xbox, it's not really as good, but it's still something to consider because, again, in the later half, I'll show you like how to look for those market trends to see what exactly you guys should all individually be selling. So now we're going to be taking a little field trip now that I'm upstanding into Cyrodiil. And now that we're headed to Cyrodiil, this is a great time to remind you guys to like the video, share the video. We met our like goal for the last video, which was for every like I had to pet Evie one time, and for every subscriber I gave her a little bit of a chin scratch.
Alright, Evie, that last video got hundreds of likes, so be ready.
At that like goal. So for this like goal, hey, for every like the video gets, I'll give her one treat. So this is what you guys are going to see when you enter into Cyrodiil. You're going to be put at either one of the two gates. And we're going to kind of talk about the different vendors now at each of these locations. So we need to go to our other gate here because we are going to need to be going to the Elite Gear vendor and the Regional Gear vendor. And we're going to talk a little bit about these vendors here. Starting with the Regional vendor, as you guys can see me running to it graciously as they pick me up and I dance in their arms. So why the Regional vendor is so good. It's every single base game set can be dropped from here. So again, you're looking at Alakir Desert. Any Alakir Desert Overland set of those three can be purchased with 5k AP, which is pretty incredible. So I've made a little bit of a list here on specific ones that I want you guys to focus on, but the two big ones will be likely Cold Harbor. The thought of getting a Stiggins weapon or body piece from a 5k AP pot is just tantalizing. And Meridia's Blessed Armor is another really good set that gets used. So I would start, if you're looking here, if you've watched the second half of this video and you've seen like how to check your guys' markets, you're likely going to start with Cold Harbor. But another good noticeable one, Cold Harbor, Banker Eye, Deshawn, Malbator, which if I knew my ABCs, I skipped it because I'm an idiot. Rivenspire, that's somewhere on here too. That would be down because that's how the alphabet works. I would fail a field sobriety test. I'd be like, when they're like, can you go from E to G in the alphabet? And I'd be like, no. Sorry, officer, I'm drunk. I haven't actually drunk anything, but mentally and physically, I guess I am. So, and now we're going to talk about the Elite Gear vendor. So, there's really two big kind of things I like to point out in here. And that is that one, so a lot of these have the ability to drop a whole wide array of items. So as you can see, Marksman, Lekkies, Fasul Guile, Warrior's Fury, that's a lot of shit. But if you scroll down to the Elite Light Armor, then it just goes 1 and 2. And both Vicious Death and Transmutation are really good items. Now, the weapons for these are really, really good. So for example, you could gamble with the 20k, AP pots because some of the stuff that you get for Vicious Death can be really profitable on your server. So if you look and you notice that gap, I can't not recommend it because sometimes it's worth the gamble. You guys are going to be getting millions of AP. So if you pull, a 200k item and it took you only, 3 or 4 pots, it's still worth the gamble. But it does become more of a gamble, whereas these other ones, such as if you were to get the light armor one, you're going to be able to consistently sell those. And I would also avoid The jewelry, just because it's not going to come out in the quality that you would want. So you got your gamble, you got your big hitters. Now we're going to talk about the big boys, and that is going to be the towns. And the towns all have, so each town, there's 3, and you'll be able to see him here in just a second. So the towns are Bruma, Vlasteris, Cropsford. Very simple. Depending on your alliance, you may have difficulty getting to certain ones, but let's talk about each individual one. So, starting with Bruma, my bread and butter has been Deadly Strike on Xbox. As probably the #1 seller of Deadly Strike for a long time. Doesn't mean it's like the end-all be-all necessarily, because again, like there's a lot of sets that we're going to talk about. However, the best set is going to be from Bruma, is going to be Deadly. The other one's not necessarily as good, but that's Bruma. Now let's talk about Vlasteris. Vlasteris has a couple good sets. Elfbane, Potentate, and Ravager. Also consider things like Elysian, Juggernaut. They're also really good sets. And then at Cropsford, we're going to be talking about Buffer of the Swift, which is probably one of the most obtuse named sets I've ever heard in my life. I thought that there was a typo when I had rewrote this, and no, that's what it's called. Is Buffer of the Swift. So those are going to be the highlighted sets that I want you guys to really focus on during this event, and I think that that's going to be the #1 items for you guys to purchase to then convert your AP into gold with. Now the second half of the video, which is going to be focusing more on how do you know what the lack in your market is. This is a very good just skill for you guys to have, and when you understand the concept of like what I'm about to say, like I think it'll click for a lot of people. ESO does not have a grand exchange like it does in RuneScape. There's not a central hub. It's a very fixed, micromanaged economy. What does that mean, though? It means that there's only a certain amount of players that can be in a guild, and there's only a certain amount of items that they can list, which means that there's always a market deficit somewhere. And why that's really good for you guys to kind of know is like, for example, I was looking to purchase Crafty Alfiq a couple weeks ago. Crafty Alfiq for the longest time was worth nothing. You could buy it for a couple thousand gold, and it had skyrocketed in value because nobody was listing it anymore. So that's what I want you guys to look at is how many listings there are for items. That's the first kind of catch-all here. So say I was like, man, the Ravager set is going really good. You know, I think it's a really good set. Let me look to see how much it sells for and, you know, see kind of like how it goes. Wow, there's 0 listings in this trader, so, you know, that's a decent start. Sometimes 0 listings, though, just can also depend on, like, the kind of set. You know, every set's not listed as much. You also have to kind of think to yourself, too, like, what's the trade total volume going to be on this? So that's going to be something to kind of consider, too. But it is not listed, it looks like, potentially in any of these traders, which could be, you know, so this could be one that if you were on Xbox and A, this could be a set that I think that you guys, you know, could consider selling. Now let's take a peek at something a little more popular like Deadly Strike and see how that's doing in the market today. And you can see that there's tons of it. I'm probably some of the listings that you'll see, but you can see this is the difference, though. You can see some people are really trying to get rid of it because they listed it for 2K. Whereas I would definitely not sell it anywhere near as cheap, but you know, people are able to sell it however they like, and you know, it's your prerogative. And so you can see that. So you can see Dawn Prisms, Xbox and A are almost worth nothing. These things are worth almost triple in value on PC. On Xbox and A, hot garbage, sadly. But that's why there's a huge difference. And you can do this for every single item. Somebody told me today that Potentates had been flooded, you know, on the server. So I said, oh, you know, let's take, you know, a look at it. So you can see that there's a whole bunch of listings for weapons. And, you know, like, it's been flooded because a lot of people have said, you know, this is how I'm going to convert my AP to gold. What I want you guys to know is, again, you listen to the first half of the video, or for some reason you skip to the second half, but hey, you know, whatever your prerogative is, find that market deficit. And another good way to do this is to see what is selling. And if you're in trade guilds, which most of you may be, if you're not, I mean that's okay. You've seen the best way. You've gone to Mournhold, you go check. I would say checking Mournhold, Wayrest, and Elden Root are probably the best places to go cross-reference. And then if you play on PC, also checking Vivek City. Vivek is not really used as much on console. It's not really considered one of the main hubs. Those are the big three, though. The Alliance Capitals is the easy way to remember it. So you can see the purchases, though, of what's been purchased. So what you can do if you're in multiple trade guilds, although this is very lopsided because a couple people have been purchasing alchemy writs like it's nobody's business, but you can go down and you can see everything that's sold. So you could, and I want to point this out too. A lot of the battleground sets have been selling really well, especially Plague Break. If you guys get Plague Break during this next event, do not assume it's worthless. It just is a little bit of a side note for you. You see Rallying Cry. Rallying Cry is another really decent set too that you can get from your Rewards of the Worthy. But this is a really good thought experiment to kind of go down. You see another piece of Plague Break is sold all within the last hour, just in this one specific trader. And if you go down, you can just continually see everything. You can see that people are buying recipes, people are buying upgrade mats, people are buying raw materials, motifs, shoes, upgrade plates, re-ingredients for mats. Somebody bought new Loot Alkalite crafted gloves. Somebody bought a Deadly Greatsword for 25k. It's a really good, kind of piece of information to have. A Locket of the Pariah. Pariah is also another PvP set that you guys that gets used for PvP. So when I do my Market Watch video, likely tomorrow or Thursday, we'll be talking a lot about more sets like Pariah. Because it's not a set that you would purchase with AP to gold, but it is a set that you could farm. And during this AP doubling event, people are going to need PvP sets, so it's a really good one that you guys can be farming and selling. Hrothgar is also getting buffed next patch, so that's also another one that if you're getting, you could consider selling that also. Gloves of Dark Convergence, you can see that Dark Convergence is still selling because people are going to be wanting those sets to do kind of, janky PvP with. You can see Lightning Staff and Necropotence. This is an overland set that you guys would be able to get if you purchase the regional gear. And kind of so on and so forth. I won't, sit and weave through hours of trades, through this, other than breaking the wheel. Or I won't sit and go through, hours of breaking the wheels, sell log with you. But I want you guys to just kind of take mental notes on your server. Okay, if I'm in a trader, what's selling? How many things are listed? How many of those things are selling? What is it being sold for? Are they listed very low? For example, we saw Deadly Strike in the previous trader, and it was listed for dirt cheap. So somebody just said, fuck it. I'm just going to be trying to get rid of all this. Go ahead and take it from me. And if there's a bunch of people doing that with a set that you put your AP into, you're probably then going to have to wait to sell it down the road. It took me almost 6 total months to slowly sell all of the AP that I got, from the Midyear mayhem that occurred in the last, beginning of this year. So it is a bit of a slow process, but it is a nice passive income if you do it in a way that is productive for you guys. And the best way to do that is, again, I know I'm hitting this point home, is find what needs to be sold in your market. Find what that gap is and then be the person that fills that gap. That is the best way to make money anywhere, anytime. And if there's another, regional set that's selling really well from a base game that I didn't cover, invest in that. That 5K can easily turn into a really good, 100K item depending on the zone that you're in. It just depends on your server. For example, Spinners was selling very, very hot, hundreds of thousands of gold on Xbox NA. Then everyone farmed it. It went down to dirt cheap, and now it's rising in value again because people are kind of going, well, there's nobody else listing this. I'll list it again. The market will always find an equilibrium, and then it will spike, and then it will go back down to an equilibrium again. But, you have definitely a good opportunity on your guys' hands to be that, ride that spike. You're putting money into Dogecoin when it first came out, and then you're going to make a decent amounts of money. But that's going to kind of wrap up my 2 parts of this video. Again, if you have questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments below. We are not too far away from the giveaway. It's only 4 or 5 days away, depending on when you're watching this. So please leave a comment below. Hopefully you guys liked the video of Evie. She's absolutely adorable. I will give her a bunch of treats for every like on the video. Obviously not all at once. She will probably, die of happiness if I did that, because I have really good treats that I give her, and I try to space them out, so I won't do it all at once. But I appreciate you guys staying to the end, and I've tried to not ramble, so I'm rambling now to really get it all out of my system. So thank you guys again, and what we'll be doing next, or tomorrow or Thursday, depending on time constraints, will be the Market Watch video. We'll be talking about specifics of what's selling, what to hold, what you should be grinding, and we'll also probably have another Midyear Mayhem video just on the train itself, potentially like when the actual Midyear Mayhem is started, just so you guys can get a really good idea of like how easy it is, and we'll be kind of going from there. So I'll see you guys on those videos. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.